Okay, so we're back into um, designing our house. We're going to start by putting a roof on this. So this is part 5 of the video, um, and it's a grade 10 project for a TCJ class. Um, so in designing houses. Um, so to put a roof on this, we could look at different styles of roofs, and if you go to the course website and you go under grade 10 construction planning design and you load that up, there's a roof types picture. This is just a variety of different roof styles that exist out there. So you've got a gable, cross gable, all these different styles, hip roof, cross hipped, shed roofs. And to keep it simple on this, we're just going to go with a gable roof. Some of you may want to try a cross gable. If you're interested in that, talk to me and we can take a look at it. But for the purposes of this, I'm just going to stick with a gable roof. Now, like I said before, I'm going to create a porch out front here. So the roof will overhang this area, and the roof is also going to overhang this back corner here. And just to simplify things a little bit. So to start with, I'm going to take this corner here. I'm going to use my tape measure tool. And I'm going to measure out 2 feet because a typical overhang on a roof is 2 feet. And then I'm going to measure up 6 inches because the edge of our roof, which is called the fascia, is normally a 6-inch or 2x6, so it ends up being 6 inches high. So I'm going to roll around to this other corner, opposite corner, and do the exact same thing. Grab my tape measure, come across my 2 feet, come up my 6 inches. It should be on the blue plane. And then once I've done that, I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to come across and draw a rectangle on top of all that. Now remember before we did turn these walls into a component, so when we make this platform, it's not going to stick to our walls underneath. So I'm going to line this up at the top of that component, so that's just like a 6-inch slab. This is just meant for the construction phase. Lots of these lines get erased as we complete the drawing. So now we've got this platform, and we're going to put our gable lengthwise down here. So I'm going to go with I got to decide what I'm going to do for a slope here. So I've got a width of like quite a few inches. So it's narrower this way. So I'm going to go with a 512. So I'm going to come across here 12, which is the run, 12 feet. And I'm going to come across this side 12 feet. And then I'm going to come up 5. So the rise is 5 and the run is 12. So typically when we talk about roof slopes, we are talking about rise over run. And I'm having a problem here, hold on. 5 feet, enter, there we go. And so that represents the angle of the roof. So I put those markers up there, then I connected a construction line from the corner up to that mark, and then it creates a line that passes right through and intersects in the middle. And I'm going to do a couple other lines that are going to represent the fascia on the gable end wall, and you'll see it kind of come together after I'm done. So I'm going to click on this line, I'm going to drag down, and if I go on the red plane, it's coming out towards me. I need to go on that, there's like a gray plane that I'm looking for. And I might need to grab this tool and rotate around a bit and then go back to my tape measure to make sure that I'm actually in the right plane, or I can actually click down there and then type in 6 inches. I'll do the same thing here, type in 6 inches, and what it does is it draws a parallel line to that sloped line. So now I'm going to go through here and I'm going to draw a line up to the peak. I'm going to draw another line down to the eave. Then I'm going to zoom in and make sure my line, it doesn't join up right with the corner, so you got to watch that. So I'm going to zoom in there, click on that eave line, and then same thing, zoom into this corner and connect it there. Now, things might get a little bit weird as we pull things out with the 3D tool, but I'd have to start by erasing this line here. So I know it just erased a bunch of stuff behind, but I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to erase that line as well. At this point, if I want, I can delete the guides. Kind of cleans things up. Now I'm going to grab my push-pull tool, and I'm going to pull the overhang out towards me 2 feet. And now you can see how that's starting to look more like the roof of a house. So now I've got this sort of empty cavity on this side. And to draw this properly, I'm going to grab my pencil tool and I'm going to come across and fill in these gaps so that it closes that in and it's not an empty cavity. I'm going to zoom into this other edge, close this in across. So now I've got a surface that I can actually pull through to the other side of the building. So I'm going to grab my push-pull tool again, grab this surface, and I'm going to pull it all the way out to here. Now, this is the end of my gable. I still need to make my overhang like the other side. So I got a little bit to do here. I'm going to grab my pencil tool and I'm just going to trace the underside of this and it'll close in. Grab my eraser tool, erase this line. If I don't, what happens is it just pulls funny. Pulls chunks of it and not the entire surface. So I want to erase this line here, that line on that side. Oops, Control Z. Zoom in a bit and erase those lines there. Now I can grab this surface of the eave and pull it out 2 feet. So once again, you're clicking on the surface. Let me do that again. I click on the surface, release my finger off the mouse button, drag it out towards me, and type in 2 feet, enter. And now I've got a nice 512 sloped gable roof on my house. Now as part of this, some of these corners here would have to be supported or you'd have to have specially designed trusses. The back side here isn't much of an overhang, and that could be designed into the trusses. But this front part here, I think it's going to need something here to support this corner. So I'm going to put a beam in there and a couple posts actually. So I'm going to come into this corner and I'm going to drag this down and I'm going to put a beam in here that's going to be 10 inches by 5 inches. And I'm going to pull this across out to this surface here. Now I'm going to put a 5 by 5 post on or draw a 5 by 5 square on the bottom of this. Select my rectangle tool, put this in here, 5 inches, 5 inches. And I'm also going to do that at the center point of this. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to find my midpoint, it'll light up blue, there we go. And now to center it, I can't just click on one side. I need to come back from that half of 5 inches, which is 2.5 inches. So now I can go from this corner, I can drag it over here and type 5 inches, 5 inches with the rectangle tool. And I'm going to put another post right here in the corner here, 5 inches, 5 inches. So I've got 3 posts. Now I'm going to bring them down to the bottom of that floor. So we're going to grab the push-pull tool, select them, pull it down to the base there, pull this down to the base, and pull this down to the base. And there we have our roof system completed.